So, when I go back to 2005, again, before the iPhone, what did I learn? What changed in the world? Well, actually what I learned is, speaking of which, change takes longer than we think. Change is hard. There's a great quote which is, change happens when the pain of not changing is greater than the pain of changing. That's a great way to sell change to your CEO. There's pain either way. If you love pain, and you're a masochist, then I guess you're an entrepreneur. But ultimately, you've got to choose lessers of evil. Well, I learned that, and also clients don't always pay on time. Those are the only two things I learned. The reality is that our brains are hardwired to resist change. Our brain sees a piece of stimulus and says, where have I seen that before? And attempts to put the square peg in the square hole. But today, of course, we know we're trying to force that square peg in the round hole, and it doesn't always work. This is what I call my WTF slide. For those of you that need translation, I can tell you at the Buddha Bar when I've had a few scotches. So let's go back to that idea, right? Digital, social, mobile, the basic building blocks now of this new economy. And by our own admission, we're still not doing too well with those three things. Well, let's expand it slightly. Let's talk about cloud and big data. These are the big five. I too am originally from South Africa, so let's be in a game park where the big five animals are ultimately these five. If you're going to excel in anything, excel in these five. But here's the problem. In the US, when they do the weather forecast, they always say we have three models: the American model, the European model, and the international model. And the big storm that is on the horizon, the American model says it's going out to sea. Don't worry, it's going to miss you. The international model says it's just going to glance the coast and maybe dent or bruise you a little bit. But you should be okay. And then the European model comes ahead and says this one is going to hit you right between the eyes. That's how I see this slide. This is where you have to place your bets. Don't worry about the next big thing. The next big thing is now, but at the same time, worry about the next big thing for you, because it could literally change everything. Let me give you an example. In this slide, and don't worry, you guys, I'm sure you'll get copies of the slide as well. And if I see people taking a photo, I'll pause slightly. This is a great way that says all of these change, all of these forces, they are right now not pie in the sky. They're not on the distant horizon. They are absolutely affecting us right now. An example is automation. When we think about not robotics and AI, but just automation, replacing those pesky humans, those error-prone humans, the people, I think some of you are still human and not cyborgs animated, to kind of, move beyond your imperfections, like customer service, like dealing with other humans. So 24.7 jobs could be lost by 2027, and certainly entire industries, like the toll booth industry. I'm not really sure if that's actually an industry, but there's certain, even immigration coming through customs now, that's all going to be replaced with biometric scanning, etc. Ironically, there is one company that kind of bucks this trend. In a day and age where many of you are closing down your bricks and mortar stores and firing those pesky humans, Apple continues to buy prime real estate and hire more human beings and put them in their stores. I dare you to try and get from one side of an Apple store to the other side without being rugby tackled by about 12 of those geniuses, because they're coming for you. They're incentivized on actually body kind of hugging you in a sense. Ultimately, this storm, it's on the horizon. We all see it. We all recognize it. We all feel it. And it could literally change everything.